Okay, y'all, now we're on to part 2 of this Craftsman 19 and a half horsepower twin here on this ride mower. I fixed all the throttle and governor stuff in part 1 of the video to where somebody had undone what was right, as well as got it running so where it would run on all speeds and running well. So if you want to see that video, it's in the previous video to this, and check it out. But we're going to look under the deck now, and if you look under the deck, apart from that damage there on the side, on the end down there, if you look under the deck is in really good shape. Honestly, I don't think this mower has a lot of hours on it, just considering that it's relatively clean in terms of, like, there's not a ton of oil on the motor. Everything works. The steering's not incredibly loose like you can find on these Craftsmans. It's just set out in the weather. And so, and also another indicator is there's still a ton of tread on the tires too. So shows you that it wasn't run hard when it was used. It was actually used halfway decent in its life. So now I've got a 9/16 inch ratchet, and I am taking off. You know, I'm kind of kicking myself because I had a riding mower lift, and I was like, I'm not really going to work on riding mowers anymore. And guess what? What am I working on? Another riding mower. Not 4 months after. This is a 9/16, so it was able to come off with a blade stop tool. So we're just going to check the condition of the blade here. Not enough clearance for me to get an impact under here, which is kind of unfortunate, because if I had my mower lift, this would be perfect. Of course, I could fork over another $100 and $80 or so and get one, but these are a star bit, or star key, so they will fit back into the star whenever you put it back in. So let's check the condition of this blade. Honestly, not too bad, truthfully. So there's that side. There's that side. It's really not that old of a blade. There's a little bit of taper on the ends there, but that's about it. So I'm going to hop over here to the angle grinder. I'm going to sharpen these edges a little bit, and we're going to put them back on the mower. And I am also going to do the other side, which is the same deal. You just have to find a point on the deck to where you just screw that blade tool in, which I'll show you. This $10 tool from Lowe's is probably giving me thousands of dollars worth of mower blade changes in terms of sales. So good investment if you wanted to work on mowers of any kind. So let me sharpen this. Let me get the blades back onto the mower. And next order of business will actually be test mowing it, which I'm not going to get to today. I'm going to get to tomorrow, so I'll pick up the video then. And I found one last thing before tomorrow, before I test it. The bolt right here, 7/8 inch nut, excuse me, it's a nut, was actually not tight. So if you want to test it, you can take your blade, I'll take the blade tool off just for the purposes of this. You have to put the blade tool on in order to do this, but if you just take your blade and spindle, and if there's any play in it, make sure there's the top part of the spindle is not loose. The bolt had just a smidgen of a turn, but you don't want that thing to loosen while you're cutting grass, and then spindles flying everywhere and whatnot. I was able to access it without really having to take off the cover here on the side. I did just take this bolt off right here, or just loosen it, and I'm going to tighten it back up. And so now I think she's ready to have a test mow, so to speak. So let me do that We'll do that tomorrow, and we'll pick it up then. Okay, so I got the blades back on. Just make sure that you fit it back into the star bit correctly. I got them sharpened. Pretty nice now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and level the deck. I think the deck is a little bit low on the left side. I have not cut with it yet, but if there's another approach to it, just let me know. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to measure, first off, the height of the deck here. I've got it on the highest setting, just as a good baseline. Make sure you're on level ground when you do this as well. And also make sure that your tires are inflated to the proper PSI, because if you have a tire low on one side, it's going to cause the deck to be lower on one side. So you're talking about just under 3 inches, probably 2 7/8. Now I'm going to measure the difference between the actual blade and the bottom of the deck. Which is basically all of 1 inch. So right here I'm cutting it about 3 7/8 inches. Let's go on this side. This one's a little bit more tricky because I've actually got to get under the mower to do this, but it's not going to be too bad. So I'm sitting at about a 1/2 inch lower here, so about 2 3/8. Now let's measure the difference between the blade, the bottom of the blade, and the mower deck, which is actually about 1 inch. So we are same deal on this side. So we are actually about a 1/2 inch low on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise this a 1/2 inch. I just want to double check my measurement on the left side here, but I'm going to show y'all how to do that in just a second. Making sure I measured it to the right. I did measure it to the bottom. I just measured it to the cutting area of the blade, the lowest point. So we're about a 1/2 inch low on this side. I'm going to raise it up about a 1/2 inch. First off, actually I'll show y'all after I get the proper tools that we need. Okay, so there's 2 options since this is a 1/2 inch low on the left side here. First off, you could either take the right side of the deck and lower it a 1/2 inch, or what I'm going to do, take the left side of the deck, because I think this impact may have caused the deck to collapse maybe just a little bit. I'm going to raise this side a 1/2 inch. It's a 9/16 inch. Your best bet is to do a ratcheting wrench, and just make sure, you know, lefty loosey righty tighty. So we're going to go this way. We're just going to raise it. It's honestly a guesstimation, because what I've done is I've got the deck at its lowest point so that I can actually access it. And we're just going to kind of play it by ear. So right now it's dragging the ground. So that's just going to be kind of a test on each side, and we established that it's the same distance between the bottom of the deck on both sides, so we don't have to measure down from the blade, which is what I ended up doing. Right on the middle of the deck, because that's kind of where I want to gauge where the blades are. So let's see. Raise the deck up to its highest setting to measure. Sorry, having a hard time with a one-handed tape measure here. So again, this hasn't really changed very much. It may have lowered a 1/16 of an inch. We're aiming for about 2 7/8 on both sides. And honestly, I think we're about there. So 2 7/8 on both sides, it looks like. So that was about, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 turns on that ratchet, or on that nut to get it height adjusted. So it's that easy to adjust the height position on this. So next, I'm going to change the oil in it. Super easy, and this has actually got the idiot-proof drain area on it, like the old style Craftsman's, which I really like. Is just you get a adjustable wrench and just loosen it up, oil falls right down there into the drain pan, as long as you can get a drain pan down there. But yeah, that's how you adjust the height of the decks on these Craftsmans. Pretty similar all the way from the late 80s. I think they may still use that deck adjuster today, because they still use a decks very similar to that. So let me change the oil in it, and we're going to give this thing a test mow. So while I've got the oil draining, I guess wanted to point out, it's a little bit difficult to get the oil pan and stuff under here whenever the deck is on. So what I ended up doing, just as a little trick, just to show you all, is I used a floor jack. I was able to turn the wheels all the way to the right, which would give me the maximum amount of space to get to the drain tube, so to speak. And then I was able to slide the oil pan under the deck. If you have a small oil pan, or maybe even like a long tube or funnel or something like that, maybe that would be a better option. But that's just kind of a little trick, just so you don't get oil all over the place whenever you change the oil in these. So I'm about to put oil in it. Alright, so the oil is changed. It took 1.5 quarts. So just remember that, right at 1.5 quarts got me right on the full mark for these opposed twins. So I figured that y'all might want to go for a ride. Hopefully this battery's charged up enough to get this thing to start, and we'll roll on with it. Alright, so I'll cut it off right now. Y'all probably heard it. I'm going to get a bunch of rain from the tropical system this week, but I didn't mean to actually scalp my grass there. This thing cuts a little bit higher than my gray Craftsman. But I'm going to grab a little bit of seafoam, because y'all probably heard it pulsing there a little bit on the test run. It's probably still got a little bit of crud in the tank / carburetor. So I'm going to throw, honestly I might throw the rest of the bottle of it in there just to get it, see if I can smooth it out some. But my yard's about a ½ acre. It's going to take me about 45 minutes to cut it. And if it passes that test, I think we'll be good to go to sell it. That thing's running nice. Alright, well, as you can see by the amount of grass that's on the deck from where I mulched it, the test mow was successful, although I have found, let's look under here real quick. don't know if you can see the drive belt very well, but you see kind of the chunk and whatnot, the crack in it. The deck belt overall is in very good shape, so I'm not going to need to change that. I will need to change out the drive belt though, because I was noticing that it was kind of a little sluggish going up the hills, and especially going in reverse up a hill. And you can see the age of the deck or the age of the belt for the drive pulleys. Looks like it is pretty old, so I am going to put a drive belt on it, which means ultimately I'm going to have to take off the deck as well. But you know, that's not really a big deal. That's just the way that it is sometimes. So, but it did get the grass cut well. Apart from that, it passed with flying colors. Deck's level, even, and all that good stuff. So the drive belt's going to be next, and but I mean, apart from that, I got a good mower here, so hopefully the drive belt will be less than 20 bucks, and that'll put me all in so far. As long as the air in the tires holds up, I'll still be under 200. I'll be right around $250 for the 2 mowers so far, because everything else I've done on this thing's cost me nothing. And we'll go from there. So again, successful test cut. You know, let me leave part 2 of this right here, because I'm making the 3-part series. So part 1 is a little bit before. Part 2 is going to be what you see here with the test mow and everything. Part 3, I'm going to put the drive belt on, and we're going to clean it up and get ready for sale. So that's exciting. Part 3 will probably come a little bit later, as I am taking a little bit of time off, but it will be coming, and hopefully it will be ready in time for leaf getting season, because I'm going to put a bagger on this mower and hopefully sell it before it gets too cold outside. So we'll find out. But if you like these videos, more videos, like, subscribe, comment. I love feedback, positive, negative, things I could do better, things that are good pointers that I've given y'all. So thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for part 3.